Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen, and I'm one of many volunteers that helps create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 117, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donation made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. So this week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press is dated Friday, August the 13th, 2021. And the front page news is talking about the Kirkwood Fire Department working on safety upgrade by Ken Waddell. The Kirkwood Fire Department, led by Chief Earl Burton and numerous enthusiastic firefighters and community volunteers, combined their efforts together for a big day on Saturday, August the 7th. The department serves Kirkwood and Riding Mountain areas of Rosedale Municipality and has 15 firefighters. Facing a shortage of up-to-date fire suits, they decided the time had come to try and upgrade the suits, as some of them date back to 1986. About 10 of the suits are outdated and need to be replaced for safety issues. As Chief Burton explained, the suits break down, and I don't want to send one of my crew into a fire and not have them safe. While the RM of Rosedale funds the department, there hasn't always been enough budget to keep all the equipment up to date. With the need in mind, the department held a big community barbecue that served about 240 people. Burton said people came from all around from the area and from Brandon, St. Rose, McCreary, and Neepawa. The group also received a number of donations as well as funds from several draws. It's their hope that they can raise enough funds to buy one new fire suit. Part of the Saturday event was a moving tribute to the late Dwayne Crandall, who passed away last year. This is a picture of him here. In a speech, Chief Burton explained, "The Kirkwood Fire Crew would like to say a huge thank you to Grant and Kathy Lewandowski for designing and creating the Dwayne Crandall Memorial Garden." Goes on to say, Burton added that Dwayne was a huge part of the fire crew. He was a member for 25 plus years and served as deputy chief for a lot of these years. We lost Dwayne about 9 months ago, so we created the garden in his honor because the fire department was a very important part of his life. We also planted a tree on the east side of the fire hall in his honor to best reflect the men we lost. The tree had to be an oak to properly express his presence in the department and our community. He will be greatly missed by all. As for the Kirkwood Fire Department's recent barbecue fundraiser, the funds raised are being directed towards hall upgrades and a new fire suit. Burton stated that he was thankful to all the people that came out on the day to test out the fire crew's cooking. A huge thanks to the overwhelming support we have received, everything from food, prizes, and borrowed items, and also some straight-up cash donations. It has been very moving to see all of this support, and the words "thank you" does not even come close to covering the Kirkwood Fire Crew's appreciation, said Burton. We are definitely a fire department, but we refer to ourselves as a fire crew because we are friends and our extended family, even when we are not out on a call. Burton added that they hope that the community and the municipality will be able to help the department continue to honor Crandall's memory and contribution as the fire hall and the equipment continue to be upgraded. In a later interview with the Neepawa Banner and Press, Burton explained the department is always training and proactively protecting the community. With the owner's permission, we burn derelict buildings. That eliminates fire hazards and places for vermin to reside. It also gives our crew good firefighting practice without the pressure of a fire call situation. We also do ongoing control burns in fire hazard areas. And here's a picture of the day of the barbecue fundraiser where a large number of people came to attend. And there's a picture on the front too, and this shows the Kirkwood Fire Chief Earl Burton viewing the Memorial Garden and plaque last Saturday with a heavy heart as he misses Crandall as a firefighter and friend. The Memorial Garden and oak tree make for a very peaceful place to visit at the Firewood Fire Hall. And next we have an article about Brian Pallister by Owen Devereaux. Well, that was unexpected. On Tuesday, August the 10th, Manitoba Premier Brian Pallister announced he will not be seeking re-election in 2023. As well, the Premier stated a new leader for the Progressive Conservative Party would be chosen before the next provincial election. During the announcement, Pallister did not specify the exact timeline for when he would be stepping down as leader. Pallister's bombshell decision was announced during the PC Caucus annual retreat held this year in Brandon. And it continues to say, Brian Pallister was acclaimed as the PC party leader back in 2012 and was first elected as the 22nd Premier of Manitoba in 2016. He was re-elected Premier in 2019. After almost 10 years as leader of our party and more than 5 years as our province's Premier, I believe that now is the time for a new leader and a Premier to take our province forward, said Pallister. By stepping aside at the midpoint in our second mandate, I believe this will provide sufficient time not only for party members to choose a new leader, but for Manitobans to get to know the new leader and Premier, Pallister said. The next provincial election is slated for 2023. Four Seasons celebrates 25 years by Casper Werehon. Here we have a picture of Ken and Sally LaBelle, owners of Four Seasons Repair in Minidosa, showing the delicious cake they had available for the guests who stopped by to help them celebrate their 25th anniversary on August the 6th. A Minidosa business celebrated an important milestone recently. Four Seasons Repair, owned by Ken and Sally LaBelle, had been in service for 25 years. Prior to coming to the community, Ken had worked at a small engine repair shop in St. Rose. It was his dream to start up his own business, said Sally. It was actually clients from this area that would go up to St. Rose, so we knew there was a demand for it here. We bought this building. I went to school for accounting and marketing, and he's a certified recreational vehicle technician. The pair got married on July the 6th, 1996, moved to Minidosa 6 days later, and renovated the shop, as well as their house, which they bought at the same time as the store. Just about a month later, and the store was officially open on August 6th, right after the first Classic Rock weekend in Minidosa. After making sure the business was started, the two started a family and have 2 boys that have been involved with the store all their lives. Since opening, Four Seasons added a couple warehouses and have attracted clients from all around. I'd say we probably have a good 50 to 100 mile radius of clientele. Sally added, coming from a small community, you always have good support. Minidosa is small, so we've always got that support from local people. And it also goes on to say, the LaBelles have made a number of connections while running the business, not just in the community, but in the industry as well. Four Seasons became a Husqvarna dealer in 1999, with Duker following around 2018, and Echo just last fall. We're a titanium dealer with Husqvarna, one of the largest in Manitoba. Although it's been 25 years, both Ken and Sally noted that it feels like it's been no time at all. "It feels good to celebrate this milestone," said Ken. "It's kind of amazing how quick it went. Yeah, it's like the blink of an eye, and it's 25 years later. Some blood, sweat, and tears for sure running a business," Sally enthused. "Being an owner is hard work, but it's been very rewarding. It makes us stronger and appreciative of the hard work, what we've accomplished through the years." In their final thoughts, the LaBelles told the Banner and Press that they've enjoyed all their years with the customers and look forward to many more. "We made good connections with the clients, the industry leaders, the employees that have worked here over the years, and the community, the town of Minidosa," said Sally. And here is pictured the team from Four Seasons Repair. Maya Birch is a mechanic. Ken and Sally are the owners. Rebecca Stewartson, parts person, and Daniel Toker is a mechanic. Rolling Barrage. This is under travel and entertainment. Rolling Barrage rides into Neepawa by Owen Devereaux. A coast-to-coast motorcycle ride and fundraiser will cruise its way down the streets of Neepawa on Saturday, August 14th. The Rolling Barrage is an annual event looking to raise awareness and break the stigma surrounding post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, in veterans and first responders. Presented by Military Minds, Inc., the barrage is running this year from August 2nd to 21st. The group of riders that participate will stop in communities all across Canada over the course of those 20 days. For this year, Neepawa will be one of those stops. Started back in 2017, the Rolling Barrage's creation coincided with the 100-year anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge. Its name is derived from the creeping barrage, a tactic used by the 4 Canadian divisions to win the infamous battle. For more information or to register for a leg of the ride, visit the Rolling Barrage's Facebook page or website at therollingbarrage.com. And here we have an old picture from the Beautiful Plains Museum, and it's of Tobermory School. This picture is dated 1933 and was taken outside the Tobermory School. According to the Manitoba Historical Society, the Tobermory School District was established in March of 1890, and a one-room schoolhouse operated at Southwest 3-18-15 West in the rural municipality of Rosedale. The original structure was replaced in 1908 by another building located at the coordinates northwest 27-17-15 west. The school then closed in the January of 1968, and remaining students were bused to Eden and Neepawa. The building itself was sold and moved to Riding Mountain, where it was used as a community center. And here's a class from dating back to 1933. Okay, and I think I'll come back to that. All right, speaking of schools, this is the addition that is going to be completed this fall at St. Rose. The electrical construction addition at St. Rose School is approximately 65% complete, with the project slated to be completed late this fall or early winter. However, Turtle River School Division, TRSD Superintendent Bev Semesco acknowledges that many times projects like these require additional time to finalize the building, work out the kinks, and complete the necessary preparations needed in order to begin a new vocational program. There are many components that need to fall in place in order to start a new electrical program, and Turtle River School Division is pleased to be well on the way to have one of those major boxes checked off. with the construction of a new addition to the St. Rose School. The anticipated first class being offered to students is tentatively expected to begin in February of 2022. Vocational studies are one area that Turtle River School Division has been continually supporting and trying to grow to add to their already established industrial arts and automotive programming. Our area needs more accessibility to training and programming being offered in the trades, and we hope that having another option is well received. This new program will support not only our division, it also has the potential to support the surrounding region and other communities in our area. The superintendent wants to see the program and facility utilized as much as possible in the years ahead. In the near future, Turtle River School Division will be planning a grand opening upon completion of the project. Additionally, as COVID permits, we are excited to invite the community to come and tour our new facility. Turtle River School Division is very excited that this project is finally coming to fruition and would like to thank all division staff and the various trades that have been involved during the project for their hard work and cooperation. Next is the Spruce Plains RCMP report by Corporal Jacobsen. During the week of August 2nd to the 8th, Spruce Plains RCMP dealt with 52 police activities. On August the 2nd, RCMP conducted a COVID compliance check in the municipality of Glenella, Lansdowne. All persons were found complying with the quarantine regulations. Police received a report of threats being uttered in Kirkwood. After investigation, it was determined that no actual threats were made, and the report was deemed unfounded. August 3rd, RCMP received a report of someone burning a pile of wood in the RM of North Cypress Langford during a fire ban. Police made contact with the fire starter, who was unaware the fire ban was still in place, and the fire was put out shortly after. Police received a complaint of a hit and run to a vehicle in Minidosa, and the investigation is ongoing. On August 4th, RCMP responded to a breach of peace report in Neepawa. All involved parties were spoken to, and the matter was resolved peacefully without further issue. Police received a report of theft of a grave marker in Minidosa. Upon further investigation, it was discovered that the marker had been buried, likely due to the extreme flooding that occurred last summer. August 5th, RCMP received a report of an abandoned vehicle on the highway near Neepawa that had been there for days. Police attended the vehicle and were not able to make contact with the owner. The vehicle was towed and a message was left with the vehicle's owner. Police received a request to conduct a well-being check on a person in a parked vehicle in Neepawa who appeared to be in distress. Police made contact with the person, determined they were not fit to drive, and a ride home was provided. August 6th, RCMP responded to a complaint of sheep that were loose on the highway in the municipality of Glenella, Lansdowne. This has been an ongoing issue, and the matter is still under investigation. Police received a report of a dangerous driver in the RM of Minidosa. Police patrolled the area but could not locate the driver. Police responded to a report of mischief in Rapid City. The complainant ultimately declined to proceed with charges. August 7th, RCMP conducted proactive traffic enforcement and engaged with several motorists. Numerous tickets and warnings were issued to drivers for various offenses, including speeding, disobeying stop signs, parking where prohibited, and operating a vehicle with an unsecured load. And lastly, on August the 8th, RCMP were dispatched to a report of an assault in Minidosa where the subjects of complaint were trying to sort out an allegation of theft and vandalism. There were no injuries and no witnesses. The matter was determined to have insufficient evidence to proceed. Police received a dangerous driving complaint in Gladstone. Police were not in the area at the time of the report and were unable to locate the driver. RCMP conducted 26 traffic enforcement actions during this reporting period. Rural Outlook. Aid Cannot Come Soon Enough by Casper Werhan. Drought conditions are hitting cattle farmers hard this year. With the hot, primarily dry weather, farmers are low on supplies and reducing their herd sizes to accommodate. This is something that Tara Fulton, manager of the Gladstone Auction Mart, is seeing through the business's operation. Fulton told the Banner and Press that the auction mart is normally open at the end of August or the beginning of September. However, they've been holding extra sales this year to accommodate. She said, "We ended up having a sale on July 27th with 150 head. So that's a first for as many years as anyone can remember that there was a sale in July. We'll probably keep going every second week of August, and then we'll be in the full swing of things at our usual time." She added, "Everybody's trying to do what they can with no water or little water or no grass. And now all of a sudden the crops are coming in, so guys are trying to get out the combines and scrape up enough hay. It's hard on everybody." While some areas have had the occasional brief downpour, Gladstone has missed most of it. The week of the July 27th sale, Fulton noted that the Gladstone area received perhaps a tenth, whereas Arden may have gotten an inch or so. Despite this, Fulton stated that there's still areas that have worse conditions. She said, "We're not quite as bad right here as it is in the Interlake. The drought is province-wide, and it's Canada-wide too, actually." The Banner and Press also spoke to Matthew Atkinson, cattle farmer, district representative for Manitoba beef producers, and second vice president of the Canadian Cattlemen's Association. Atkinson confirmed the conditions Fulton spoke of, citing the early sales in Gladstone and other hard-hit areas such as Ashern as immediate proof of how much herds are being reduced. It's hard to set a number on it until we really see how everybody can handle the situation, but sales are happening earlier than ever before in a lot of cases, said Atkinson. He said, "Time will tell how many actually go down the road to market in terms of breeding herds, but there's certainly going to be some pretty big numbers. And there were a lot through last fall and the spring also, so it's going to reduce herds a lot." He added, "In our own operation, we had cut numbers back in the springtime already, reduced numbers going out on the grass, and I think many producers did the same. We're still hopeful that we'll not have to reduce too much by utilizing some crop residues and some bought and processed feeds. It's a little bit dependent on our fall weather yet too, that we can utilize some straw and some corn stubber and things like that, but we're going to have to reduce a little bit more too, for sure." Essentially, it's going to be all about farmers coming up with creative ways on their own operations to cope with the drought. Assistance programs that are better suited for an isolated area having a problem won't cut it for this year's issues. It's a very different approach than what is required when it's going from northwestern Ontario to the BC coast. Those are a very different kind of response, and it's going to take lots of innovation. It's not like you can say, well, an hour away, the conditions aren't that bad, so I'm going to buy hay from that guy there. No, it's going to take a lot of innovation on how guys address their feed shortages. There's just not the hay at all to say, I'm going to buy hay and haul it an hour to feed my cows. It's just not there. Everybody's going to have their own innovative approaches that suit their own operations, more than we've seen in the past for sure. Summer and fall isn't expected to be the end of it though. Atkinson predicts that the winter will be even tougher for many farmers going forward, depending on the weather. Last year, many farmers were short on feed as well, but winter conditions turned out to be fairly mild and allowed for use of regrowth in fields for grazing. I would say that this drought is sort of a twofold problem. We have the lack of surface moisture created by an immediate lack of rain, but then we also have the lack of groundwater because we're in the middle of a few years of being short on rain, said Atkinson. If guys get the opportunity to get the necessary feed to keep cattle for the winter, there's still always the concern of, will our water sources hold up? That's been a problem throughout summer. There's been a lot of people not able to utilize the bits of grazing they did have due to water shortage, and I think we'll see more of that going into winter. And it goes on to say, another problem arises come springtime, whether or not enough rain will fall. Atkinson said that if the area doesn't get rain, it won't matter how well an individual is able to manage their operations. It'll be a tough year. We'll have to wait and see just what we get. With how widespread the drought is, when we start to see so much of the fire hazard concerns too, it definitely affects all of us, and there are some really hard hit areas such as BC. We've seen them lose huge tracts of grazing land to wildfires out there, and we're hoping we can get some rain and not end up with those levels here. He added, we're optimistic that we may see some help perhaps in the not too distant future. We're going to help producers all we can going forward, but it can't come soon enough for many. In his final thoughts, Atkinson said that this is a good time for thinking of mental health and talking to people on this issue. It's a good time for neighbors working together. There's not a lot of straw, not a lot of crop residue out there, but if anybody has any that they can spare, it would sure be appreciated on the part of the cattle producers to make that available at a reasonable cost, to do what they can to help out. On August the 10th, a few days after the interviews with Fulton and Atkinson, the province announced support for farmers affected by this year's conditions. This support is coming in the form of $62 million in programs under the Agri-Recovery Framework. The government expects this framework to ensure producers have options to retain and care for their animals while also supporting longer-term sustainability to the livestock sector. The programs are currently being developed, but will include funding for feed assistance, feed transportation, cattle transportation, and a her rebuilding program. This announcement is very important as it recognizes both the immediate needs related to the feed situation as well as looks ahead to a time when producers will consider rebuilding their herds, said Tyler Fulton, president of Manitoba Beef Producers. We appreciate the government's commitment to the future of our sector and look forward to seeing more program details. Sales for cattle last week were confirmed to be up 17% compared to last year, with cattle prices being driven downwards and the value of breeding cows dropping by more than 50%. And in Minidosa, they have made a decision on the name for their new Rec and Events Center by Owen Devereaux. The new arena planned for Minidosa will be named after a prominent former community leader. The Manitoba government, in conjunction with the town of Minidosa, announced on Monday, August the 9th, that the community's soon-to-be constructed Recreation and Events Center will be named after Harold Gilshammer. Gilshammer is a former MLA in the rural riding formerly known as Minidosa. He served in that role from 1988 to 2003, representing a number of cabinet portfolios during that time before retiring from the legislature in 2003. In a media statement announcing the move, Manitoba Premier Brian Pelster said, "I am proud to honor the legacy of Harold Gilshammer by naming this facility site after him, celebrating his support and leadership of the community for so many years." The Minidosa Recreation and Events Center, which was officially announced on July the 28th, has an estimated $8 million price tag. The total cost will be covered through a combination of federal, provincial, and municipal contributions along with local fundraising. The new facility that will be built will feature a full-sized ice surface, 5 dressing rooms, a fully finished kitchen, upper and lower level viewing areas, elevator accessibility, and an interior walking track. Minidosa Mayor Pat Scatch said that the community is excited for the project. We look forward to the completion of this project in the near future, as it will provide recreation and supporting opportunities in our community for many years to come, stated Pat Scatch. Ah, that's wonderful for their community. Now, we have an article here says, Riding for Those Fighting with the Toughest Fight of Their Lives by Owen Devereaux. Cycling has changed Kyle Wasco's life for the better. He's now hoping to use it to make sick children's life a little bit better as well. The former Alonza resident recently passed through Neepawa as a participant in the Great Cycle Challenge, a national initiative started in 2016 to raise money for the Sick Kids Foundation. Every August, the challenge sees individuals ride their bicycles an extended distance to raise funding for research to develop treatments and a cure for childhood cancer. In 5 years, riders from every province and territory have ridden a total of 12,580,838 kilometers and together raised over $21.5 million. For Wasco, he decided to ride after learning of the struggle of Adrian, the son of one of his wife's friends. The youngster was recently diagnosed with the rare form of brain cancer. It was one of those things where when you hear about it, you want to help out any way you can. One of the ways we were told we could do that was donating blood. There's always a shortage, so it's important to support in that manner. After that, I just figured I wanted to do more. I got into cycling this year and then heard about the Great Cycle Challenge over the radio, so I jumped on board with that, and Adrian is my motivation. Wasco started his journey on August the 1st in the community of Giroux near Steinbach. From there, he traveled to Winnipeg, then past Portage la Prairie and up to Langroof. Wasco then made his way over to Clear Lake before heading back home through Minidosa and Neepawa and arriving back home on August the 8th. While preparing for this journey, Wasco decided to cycle 500 kilometers and hoped to raise $500. Those modest goals have been surpassed in a big way, as he ended the ride with about 800 kilometers traveled, and even more impressive has been the money raised for the cause, as just over $5,000 has been brought in as of Friday, August 6th. Wasco told the Banner and Press that he was simply blown away by the amount of support this has generated. The support has been good. From the donations to the words of support, it's been wonderful. It all helps. This has all been pretty amazing. I had never ridden a bike until this year, so to volunteer and for people to get behind this is just exceptional. It's a very good cause. I am very proud to just be a part of it. Anyone interested in learning more or supporting the ride can do so by going online to www.greatcyclechallenge.ca/riders/Kyle Wasco. And here's a picture of Kyle when he passed through Neepawa on Thursday, August the 5th. Wow. And here we have a full page displaying all the lifeguards from their respective communities. This one is from Neepawa. These group of lifeguards are from McCreary. These ones are from Carberry. These ones are from Gladstone. And these ones are from Minidosa. Stating, think water safety. Now, onto the sports pages. A Titanic change in financial fortune by Owen Devereaux. While not playing hockey, apparently is a roadmap to financial success. The Neepawa Titans are hoping to find other options to keep the team viable for years to come. The Junior A Hockey Club hosted its annual general meeting on Wednesday, August the 4th, in the back room of the Neepawa Public Library. It was there that the team announced that it had actually made a net profit in 2020/21 of $96,082. Of that, $49,884 came from generated revenue from advertising, sponsorships, and other miscellaneous income. The other $46,198 was through a government wage subsidy and bridge grant distributed in connection to the circumstances connected to COVID-19. This is the first time since 2017 that the organization has been able to post a year-end profit. The overall revenues for the 2020-21 season totaled $310,346, less than the previous year's total of $372,615. The cancellation of the MJHL season only a quarter of the way through the schedule can be attributed to the drop. The lone highlight from that cancellation, however, could be said that expenses also fell from $436,698 to $260,462. With the increase in profits from the year, the Titans' overall deficit has been cut from $334,624 to $238,542. The organization's official financial statements were compiled by Kinley Thompson Chartered Accountants, Inc. Neepawa Titans Board President Ken Waddell said that while the year-over-year profit are very positive, the circumstances surrounding 2020-21 will not likely be repeated. We covered costs and reduced our deficit, but we certainly don't want another year like that for those same circumstances to repeat themselves, said Waddell. We need to find ways to build some momentum from a return to play. I think people are eager to have some community activity happening again, and hockey is a reasonable, popular activity. The other is we, as a board, need to do a better job with the annual lottery, the sports dinner, and the game day attendance and experience. Waddell added that the new team name and merchandise related to it has been a recent success story, as the board has seen a noticeable uptick in sales for those products. He said a lot of work went into the change, and the board members involved with the process should be commended for that dedication. Along with the release of the financial statements, the annual election of board members was held. Ken Waddell, Deborah Kasprick, Ross McBride, Rob James, Mary Ellen Clark, Ward Susky, Landon Cameron, Jeff Michaluk, Danny Case, Sherry White, Ryan Ford, Jamie Dembo, and Bill Sirik all committed to return to the board for another year. There were no nominations of new board members this year. Neepawa Titans head coach and general manager Ken Pearson updated the public on the matters of note that will be happening on the ice of the Yellowhead Arena. He stated that Matt Lowry, who served as an assistant coach last year, will not be able to return in that capacity this year. Lowry will remain with the team, however, in a different capacity. Currently, the returning coach and support staff for the upcoming season includes Pearson, assistant coach Robbie Moore, and equipment manager trainer Derek Pearson. As well, there have been some major improvements made to the Titans dressing room at the Yellowhead Centre, as it has been renovated with new stalls and flooring. Pearson said everyone right now is just looking forward to getting back into the routine of playing hockey, as opposed to just talking about it. We're getting excited, he said. There are a bunch of players who will be in attendance for the golf tournament. They'll officially arrive at the end of the month for trying camp, and they're excited to be returning to the rink. I received so many calls and texts saying, "Coach, when can we get back? We want to get out there and get skating, things like that. It's a good feeling, and everyone is looking forward to getting going again. 2 other MJHL teams have made their financial details for the year public over the course of the summer. The Dauphin Kings have announced a loss of $7,885, while the Swan Valley Stampeders confirmed a profit of $178,702. Privately owned teams such as the Winnipeg Blues, the Winnipeg Freeze, and Ocean Blizzard are not required to release their financial statements to the public. And still on the topic of sports, future status of Neepawa United Soccer Association in Jeopardy, submitted by the Neepawa Banner and Press. The Neepawa United Soccer Association, or NUSA, is in jeopardy of folding if volunteer board members are not recruited. This is not a new situation to NUSA, as it happened in the fall of 2009 when Judy Elgert, Melissa Biscoe, Mark Pounder, Kim Chapman, and Kim Smith attended an emergency meeting as the club had no board volunteers left and found themselves as members of a brand new board, with the exception of Kim Chapman, who was the only previous board member to remain. At the time, there were roughly 40 players aged 3 to 8 involved. If children older than that wanted to join a team, they had to travel to Minidosa, as Neepawa didn't have enough players interested. Throughout these past 13 years, NUSA's board members have fluctuated, but has always had many volunteers step up to serve as coaches and referees. Special acknowledgement must also be given to our line painter, Scott Smith, as well as the Critchlow family. All these people who have aided the association over the years deserve credit for the time commitment. They have helped create a strong local soccer family who have helped provide many children in our community with opportunities to learn and play the game. Between 2009 and 11, the association continued to only be able to have a mini league for ages 3 to 8, while the older players either continued to play in Minidosa or joined the Neepawa team, who played the odd game with St. Rose. In 2012, we were able to have 2 teams join the Brandon Youth Soccer League, which was the start of our traveling teams, or community stream as it is called now. As the years progressed, our club grew to a point where in 2015, the NUSA had 151 players in its mini league, ages 3 to 8, and 7 community stream teams, which consisted of approximately 100 players between the ages of 9 to 18. Over the next couple of years, the Brandon Youth Soccer Association, BYSA, started to find running a huge league with teams from Brandon, Minidosa, Neepawa, and Rivers was getting to be harder to organize. This lasted a few years, but in 2017, things started to unravel for BYSA. Board members from all communities and other interested parties started to work with Manitoba Soccer Association to develop the Westman Regional Soccer Association, WRSA. In 2018, WRSA was launched, and Kim Smith agreed to be one of the founding board members. It has taken a few years for WRSA to work out the kinks within their program, but they have taken on some of the more time-consuming areas for our local board, which has definitely made volunteering with NUSA less time-consuming. WRSA's goal is to not only organize the community stream league, but also to provide a soccer curriculum that follows the long-term athlete development model to ensure that the quality of our soccer programs in Westman. Our last full season in 2019 saw 100 players in our mini league, as well as 9 community stream teams, roughly 125 players, involved in NUSA programming. The 2020 and 21 seasons were unfortunately both canceled due to COVID-19. Over the past 13 years, the various board members have been instrumental in providing Neepawa with a number of soccer opportunities for children. NUSA has hosted fall training sessions, indoor winter sessions, hosted coaching courses, sent many players to referee courses, summer camps with Challenger Sport and the Academy, summer sessions, attended summer tournaments in hope of players being invited to play with Team Manitoba, and have had players join the WFC or the Westman Football Club, Brandon University or ACC soccer teams. NUSA works closely with Neepawa's women's team for scheduling purposes, as well as works with the town of Neepawa, who takes care of our home field called the Flats. We've always been very thankful for support that the Beautiful Plains School Division has given our club, whether it be letting us use the HMK gym for indoor winter sessions, helping get the word out for our different programming, or using the fields at NMS and that's the Neepawa Middle School, and NACI when our numbers were overwhelming or work was taking place on the flats. The school division has been there for our club. The past couple of seasons have been uneventful due to COVID restrictions, but we now find ourselves at another crossroad. Currently, the board has only 5 members, with 3 of those individuals resigning at the end of this month. Those individuals are Judy Elgert, who has served as treasurer for the past 13 years, Kim Smith, who has been involved for 13 years, including 12 as president, and Angela Hutton, the mini league organizer for the past 8 years. Those individuals have given the club many years of their time, but feel it is time for some new volunteers to step forward to take their place. If you are interested in volunteering, please attend NUSA's meeting on Tuesday, August 17th at Boston Pizza at 7 p.m. or please reach out to the club by emailing at neepawasoccer@gmail.com. Now for some golf news by Owen Devereaux. Some familiar names were atop the leaderboard recently at the Minidosa Golf and Country Club's annual championship. For this year's competition, the club champions by division were as follows. Junior category, Cole Topham. Ladies category, Trudy Adamson. Men's category, Brett McNabb. And senior men's category, Ken Newman. 3 of those 4 individuals, Topham, Adamson, and Newman, were returning this year as defending champions, with Adamson's win giving her a 3-peat in the women's category. In the men's tournament, a strong first round score of 70 was able to propel Brett McNabb to victory. He notched a 77 in the second round for a 2-day shot total of 147. Zane McDonald shot a 79 and a 73 for a 152 total, and Jamie Armstrong shot a 79-73 for a 152, so they finished tied for second. Adamson, meanwhile, finished the ladies' event with a 2-round total of 180, 91 and an 89, a full 11 shots clear of runner-up Cindy Grant with a total of 191. Ken Newman claimed the senior men's crown with a 156, shooting 79-77, 5 shots better than Ward Rathwell. Cole Topham's combined 173 with a 82 and a 91 was good enough to take the junior title. Patrick Law, the general manager and head golf professional at the Minidosa Golf and Country Club, said that they were quite happy with how everything went over the course of the tournament. Considering how dry it's been across the area, the course held up quite well. The greens were rolling a little fast, but overall the entire course was in fantastic shape. During the second round, it was a bit more windy out there, especially down the back 9. Everyone still put up some impressive scores, and in general, it just turned out to be very positive despite the conditions. In total, there were combined 45 participants in all 4 categories. Now, from the Carberry, North Cyprus, Langford News, Here and There by Gladwin Scott. Excerpts from the Town Council meeting of July the 22nd are the following. A new Economic Development Officer, Alicia Funk of McGregor, has been hired to commence her duties September 7th. She brings plenty of experience and enthusiasm, and her office will be in the old town office until the new town offices on Main Street are available. The Town of Carberry Councillor Matthew Tolton has been suspended indefinitely for breaching the Code of Conduct. Gas taxes from the federal and provincial governments amounting to $191,000 has been received, doubled from 2020. The cost to remove the large trees on Wheatland Drive is $65,000. Carberry Communities in Bloom has selected Phyllis Calvert's Yard of the Week. They live on 477 Main Street. The British Commonwealth Air Training Memorial Site will be officially opened Saturday, September the 11th at 1 p.m. Special guests and sponsors will be announced at a later date. The Legion will host the gathering after the opening. The museum has undergone some exterior and grounds improvements. The Pembina Hills Under-13 baseball team had a good game at the Simplot Diamonds in Brandon, July 28th, trailing 2-1 till late in the game when the hosts took a 10-2 decision. They play a doubleheader in Winnipeg August 8th and host Midwest in Carberry Sunday, August 15th at 11 and 4. 2 more games are slated for Glenborough August 18th and 19th with start times of 6 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. More swimming lessons are available during the last 3 weeks in August, with the pool closing August 29th. Did you know that more ice cream is sold on Sunday than any other day of the week? In Senior AA Baseball Area League action, George McNeil smacked a triple and had 4 RBIs to lead the Murray GM Cubs to an 8-0 win over Jeff Kriski's Giants. I attended a Border League game at Balder August 3rd, which saw the Young Regals drop a 5-3 decision to the Pilot Mound Pilots. First baseman Mike Rechtel was the lone Balder veteran. Another veteran, lefty Anthony Friesen, was catching for the Pilots. Usually he stars on the mound. Anthony, who married into a curling family, curls with Rob Van Comer and Bill Thiessen in Brandon's Super League. Then, now Gladwin Scott has an article entitled Reunion of Students from Ecuador Excursion. Students from Carberry and Neepawa who traveled to Ecuador in 2009 to build schools held a reunion hosted by a group leader, former Carberry Collegiate teacher Michelle McMillan, Sunday, August the 8th. 10 of the original 13 students plus chaperone Cecil Jones were able to attend and reminisce about their life-altering experience. Madeline Flood was one of the Carberry students who was thankful for the opportunity to travel and volunteer her services for the people and children of Ecuador. It was quite a shock to see the living conditions high in the Andes Mountains. We often discussed how lucky we were to live in the Carberry-Neepawa area after returning home. Madeline obtained her teaching degree at Brandon University and will return in mid-August to teach in the Yukon for the 5th year. Her Ecuador trip provided the confidence and courage to travel alone, to volunteer in Kenya, Africa, and to accept her first teaching position in Beaver Creek, which is rural Yukon. Currently, she's studying for her master's degree in trauma education. Madeline was also very involved in the Making Waves program, swimming for children with disabilities. In a phone call from Easterville, where he has served as a paramedic for 7 years. North of 55, Ryan Farquhar, a former Neepawa student, stated that he was looking forward to the reunion. He joined the Ecuador group for the unique experience and opportunity to travel. Ryan recalled the heat, lack of oxygen in the mountains, and soccer games with the children. "They whipped us," he said. He enjoys his work as a paramedic and keeps in touch with another Neepawa participant, Jamie Graham. Okay. A pig barn construction has been approved in Westlake Gladstone by Owen Devereaux. The municipality of Westlake Gladstone has approved the construction of new hog barns in the area. The two conditional use permits that have been applied for by Top Pigs Norsven Canada Inc. received approval during a council meeting on Friday, August the 6th. To Pigs, a swine generics company based out of Oak Bluff, is looking to build a pair of facilities. One of the proposals is 1,600 space sow farrow to nursery, while the second is a 10,200 square foot finisher operation. Those facilities would be constructed about 3.5 miles away from one another. The Topigs Norsven request has been met with vocal opposition from a group of residents and pottery owners within the area. Those individuals expressed their concerns at the council at a public hearing held back on July 8th. At that initial hearing, they cited the potential smell and excessive road use from semi-trucks moving pigs to and from the location. A close proximity to several rural residences was also stated as a reason for the project to be reconsidered. And here we have 3 pictures from Friday, August the 6th, when the inaugural Neepawa Titans Golf Classic was held. It was organized by Ken Pearson and Landon Cameron. The 4-person scramble-style day had 152 total participants. Here we have Ward Susky hitting a golf ball out of the tee box with a hockey stick. And here we have Austin Klein, Jager LaPointe, and Ryland Goodnison showing off the new jerseys for this next MJHL season, right here. And here we have Titans head coach and general manager Ken Pearson preparing to tee off. Look at that form. Okay, so we have just a little bit of time left, so I was just going to go back and read a few things from this article. How Bad Is It Anyway? By Ken Waddell. Many Manitobans experience frustration every day with the extremely poor cell service and internet service across rural parts of the province. The rest of Manitoba citizens experience frustration every time they travel through poor cell service areas. It's tough to travel from any point A to point B without losing cell service. Cell service is almost non-existent in some smaller community towns, on farms and rural acreages, and that is not just an inconvenience, it's a major safety issue. If a person had an emergency in one of the many dips and hollows in many between tower areas, it would be impossible to call for help or assistance. It is not unusual at all to lose cell service between Neepawa and Gladstone, or between Neepawa and Kirkwood, for example. There are spots along Highway 10 where cell service just dies, and west of Rivers is another cold spot on the road. Internet service, which is the lifeline for businesses and families nowadays, is spotty at best. There are people who have good service. Some have a choice of hardwired fiber optic services, but I am told many get their internet off towers. Internet service in rural and farm areas is notoriously slow. In some cases, it's almost non-existent. In some cases, internet service used to be okay, but due to changes in company ownership or possibly the removal of a tower or two, it's no longer there. In addition, cell service and internet service in Canada is very high compared to other services. Many people cannot conduct their day-to-day businesses from their homes due to bad cell service or poor and sometimes non-existent internet service. There have been many times when emergencies or tornadoes have been spotted and the warning doesn't come through on the cell phone. The level of internet and cell service in Manitoba is unacceptably low. It's dangerous and a major hindrance to safety in conducting business. If a doctor, nurse, police officer, or any other emergency personnel lives in a poor cell area, it's a danger to them and to all of us. Please let me know in a brief email with your experience. How has cell service providers treated you? What is your internet service like? Just email us at info@riversbanner.com or kwaddell@neepawabanner.com. We would like to hear about your experience. We can almost guarantee that many people aren't getting adequate cell service or internet service and are paying through the nose for crappy service. If we get enough response, perhaps we can get some action towards improvement. I get the impression that providers don't seem to care, and if that is the case, it needs to change. Speaking of change, a big one came down on Tuesday as Premier Brian Pallister announced that he wouldn't be running in the next election. Pallister took a somewhat disorganized PC Party of Manitoba and did a pretty good job of making it into a government. It was, as Pallister said, a good time to announce his intentions. What many people don't understand is that he didn't resign. He just announced that he won't run again. He plans to stay on as leader and premier until a new leader is elected. He may even stay on as an MLA until the next election. If the newly elected leader is not a sitting MLA, there will be an acting premier named until the new leader wins a seat in the legislature. It will be an interesting season as we will likely have a federal election and then soon after a PC leadership race. Now we have an article by Rita Friesen entitled Family High. It is a difficult decision which card trumped, family gathered or 2 inches of rain. This spring I was able to install a rain catchment device in the backyard. I am reluctant to use water from the tap from town, for I am, like all town residents, billed not only for water used, but sewer fees for all the water used, whether it rushed down drain pipes or soaked into my gardens. The tank contains about 200 gallons, and it requires 1.5 inches of rain to fill the tank. For those of you keeping track of rainfall, we have not frequently received that amount in a 1 or 2 day rain. However, every time the tank is down to a dribble, rain has fallen. I have felt not unlike the widow who gave safe harbor and food to the prophet Elisha. The jar was never empty. And this week, the rain felt like the rains I recall from my early years. Soft, sustained rain soaking into the soil, gathering in low spots, greening the grass and refreshing my spirit. This rain is indeed a godsend, a high card in my world, in my farmer heart and mind. Ah, family. One of my daughters joined our household for several days, and one of my grandsons stayed over as well. We are all 2 weeks plus double vaxxed, and then several of the grands stopped by with their young ones, my great-grands. There we were, 9 family members in one place at one time. The older great-grandchild is becoming more comfortable with me and being in my home. We know where the toys are. We know that we can feed Miss Daisy with permission. And we know that we can harvest peas, peppers, cucumbers, but no tomatoes because they're yucky. Her sentences are clear and concise, as are her opinions. Creative and active and a joy to behold. The wee one is only months old, and I give clear instructions that she will know this voice, this wrinkled face and this old voice. And so far she seems okay with the arrangement. What a treasure to hug and to hold dear ones. And then the very next day we had most of the same group gather for watermelon and roll kuchen. I reminded the young adults of the time we were planning this meal, and exchanging glances, the girls asked if I would let their aunt make the roll kuchen, for hers tasted better than the ones I made. They were fortified at their boldness, and I applaud their honesty. I learned from it and take more care when making the Mennonite favorite. I am not alone in having longed for family in these past long months. I'm not the only one who missed the hugs and giggles, the games around the dining room table, the review, and sometimes revision of old family stories, the laughter and some tears as memories are shared. There does not have to be a winner, unlike the cribbage games we played. Rainfall and family, both welcome blessings. So I think that's it for today for the Neepawa Banner and Press. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.